Alright, I have a fresh install of Windows 11 that I will show you here in a minute for this live stream for Saturday night. Just come back from a late dinner at an Italian restaurant. It was delicioso. Of course, it's Italian. We'll be focusing on a piece of software called WinArrow that was brought to my attention by someone in the comments. Thank you, sir. I think it was a sir, maybe it was a girl. Either way, thank you, human, for the suggestion to look at WinArrow, Debloated software for Windows 10 and 11. For tonight, it's going to be Windows 11. So we'll get started here in just a moment. Alright, so what I'll do here, let me go straight to the desktop. I'll show you what I have here, what I did, and then we'll take a look in the chat room. So let me transition here, those of you watching this. And of course, there'll be a studio, my fresh install of Windows 11. And this is the software called WinArrow. Yeah, WinArrow Tweaker. Let me just say that after playing with this thing is loaded. This is like buying a brand new Lexus with all the options. There is no other option to buy. I mean, completely loaded. This might be a bit overwhelming for someone who's not too technical. It's not that hard, but I'm going to show you just a couple of tweaks that I did that you may find helpful. All right, so if you look at this here, we have to the left, shortcuts. And then we have, if you click the shortcuts, you have expandable drop-down window shortcuts. And on and on and on. And I won't go into every one of this. This will be a 6-hour show. I actually did a 6-hour show once. It was a fundraiser, I believe. Thank you. Some years ago, but that was 3 in the morning. That's a bit much. All right, so all the options here to the left, and we have a grid here to the right also. So I will show you what I did just to keep it simple. Now we have a search tab here. Search for a tweak. Let's do privacy. All right, just to see what we have here. So we have privacy, disable telemetry. So if we double click that, I've already done this, but you can click Disable Telemetry and Data Collection. Okay. Now, I've already done this. Now, if I wanted to undo this, which I don't, you can click Reset this page to default as it was before. Okay, so I've already done that. Another one would be, let's see, what is the other complaint? Oh, ads. Windows 11. All right. Ads, behavior / ads and unwanted apps. Click this. Okay, now I've already done, but let's say I wanted to undo this. I can click this. Everything's blank. Now I have to reboot. You see down here? Or do this later. I have already done this. So I'm going to keep this the way it is for now. If I wanted to reset the page, I can do this. But for now, I'll leave it there. Since I clicked it, I may have to reboot again, but I'll do it myself later. No big deal. So that's just a couple of examples of this really loaded tweaker. The previous tweaker I did was called Sparkle. Maybe not quite as loaded as this one, maybe easier. But like I said, this one was brought to my attention. Now, there are many more options here. You know, tweaking appearance, go back to Aero Light. Disable Copilot, and the list goes on and on here. Yeah, Windows 11, as you see here, Windows 11 disable Copilot, and click that, and again I would have to sign out now and sign back in or reboot, but I will keep Copilot for now. Windows 11 classic taskbar. Yeah, there is just too much here to mention. But if you wanted to tweak, again, a fresh install, a lightweight install of Windows 11, as you see here. And I don't really have a lot of apps here going through this. Let's see. Clipchamp, I could probably right click and uninstall that. Probably not going to use that one to do. I'm not going to use that. Don't mess much with Paint. Sticky notes I'll probably never use, but again, looking at this Xbox, I'll probably never use. This is just an example how to debloat and tweak Windows 11 so it just zips along like a lightweight Linux system. Like I said, I was able to install Windows 11 on a machine that had Windows 7, and it felt faster than Ubuntu. Debloated Windows, that is. So that's my take on this WinArrow. There are lots of tweaking tools out there, but this one works pretty good. So there you have it, a quick example of a tweaker to debloat Windows 11. Hello, Cody. Cody's in the house. Cody says there's a program called NT Lite. You mount Windows ISO and you can customize the heck out of it. Definitely not a newbie-friendly software. Okay. Yeah, you can also update the ISO to avoid Windows updates and install drivers. Yeah, there's many options for Windows if it feels bloated or too slow. I've never had that problem personally, even with outdated computers after I have tweaked the system. But obviously, it's never going to quite be the same as a lightweight Linux system. But for some people who have to use Windows for whatever, maybe their job or whatever, you can trim it and make it run the way it should without all the extra fluff that's not really necessary for Windows 11. Remember something that came out, that came to my attention during COVID. Was it O&O Shut Up Windows 11? Tweaker? I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. Again, there are many choices out there, but this WinArrow, this one's loaded. So again, thank you to that person who brought this to my attention. But I'm quite happy with this install of Windows 11. It makes me wonder, even after disabling telemetry, if it still sends out too much telemetry, even after supposedly disabling it. Just out of curiosity, I really don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah. O&O Shut Up 10. That's what it's called. O&O Shut Up 10. Yeah, it may send out much less telemetry, very limited, that's my guess. But I guess all systems do up to a point, right? Yeah, the issue again after doing a fresh install is like there's like a half a dozen reboots. It's yeah, the install update process is much faster in Linux, and there are many reasons for that, and we'll talk about that at another time. But Linux updates the system in different ways. But yeah, it's definitely faster with Linux. If you can work with the Linux system and not have to use Windows, it's definitely going to be trimmer. Yeah, I think with these system tools, with these, you can definitely extreme limit your telemetry, but there's always going to be a piece of you on the web. And we talked about, privacy on the web does not exist, but you can limit your data to the matrix, as it were. Right, Neo? Yeah, sudo apt update and then, sudo apt upgrade for Ubuntu-based systems. So let me guess, Cody, you are working tonight. I just came back from an Italian restaurant with one of my cousins. She had the fish. I had the sausage sandwich with hot sauce. It definitely warmed me up this cold evening. Cody, are you still using Windows 11? It's slow, busy, now slow, yeah. Oh, you're on the Ubuntu 25.10? Okay. Did you find yourself tweaking it with terminal commands like I did? Like click to minimize and all that, and enabling extensions. How do you use a bunch of terminal commands? Extend the timeout screen timeout limit. Also, you got the new laptop and did Ubuntu. Are you happy with Ubuntu and with Wayland versus X11? Yeah, this machine here I dual boot. 2 SSDs. Actually, no, one on an NVMe, and then the Linux Mint on the SSD. Oh, so you use the, you don't click to minimize, just use window button, installed extension. Okay. Yeah, I stuck with the terminal commands to enable click to minimize, click to I don't know why that's not enabled by default. It's so basic function. Yeah, and then I extended the maximum screen timeout from 15 minutes to 2 hours. I don't get that one either. There's probably an extension for an extension. It's almost kind of ridiculous, but I guess if it works. So Wayland works for you. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't always work for me. In fact, when I launch Brave, it completely freezes the entire system. Only with Brave browser, nothing else. So when I'm in Ubuntu, I use Mulvad versus Brave. That seems okay. And we talked about Wayland last night. But if it works, fine. Ah, you use the terminal but mainly on the Ubuntu desktop server to disable auto suspend. Okay. So, do you have any Windows machines at all, or just with Ubuntu now? Ah, a Windows machine, Dad's spare laptop. Okay. Yeah, I don't know where Microsoft goes from here with all the controversy this past year with Copilot and Windows Recall. And now they're calling this the Agentic OS, where the AI has more control over your apps versus you having control. Maybe we should have a switch just to turn that off as a choice, right? Yeah, so you like Windows 11, but cramming AI into it. I don't mind the AI. Just give me a choice to shut it off with the switch, as it were, versus having to install a tweaker to disable it. I don't mind it as a choice. Recall is great for IT standpoint. Huh. If the user messes up, you can see what they did. I never thought about that. That is a good idea. Yeah. So we can recall it the messy recall feature. Or something like that. But that's actually a good idea. See, there's always two sides to a story, right? And I never thought about that. Before I forget, if there's anybody new watching tonight's stream, and if you're brand new here, please do say hello. You're always welcome. Recall doesn't deserve the hate like it does now. Yeah, just have an option just to shut it off. I mean, it's not something I would use. But it is a potential security risk. Yeah. Yes, it should absolutely be off by default. Duh. When it's on by default, it's kind of like holding up a sign. Okay, I'm ready. Hack me. Ready, ready. Hack me, hack me. I mean, really, Microsoft, get real. Is there still a Windows Lite version or Windows S machine that you can buy? Oh, the new version of Windows Recall is encrypted. Okay. Still, I don't like it on by default. I wonder what changes in the next Ubuntu has in store for us. Still no word on the immutable Ubuntu. That'll be a special event for Canonical when it ever comes out. Years in the making. I think we live in a society where most users just click OK, allow, go ahead, yes, and move on to the next step. That's not good, you know. Well, as far as immutable goes, Chromebooks, you know, they are the king of immutables, I suppose, and they've done very well. They just work. They don't break. You can't really customize them that much, but man, they just work. They really are a joy to use. So yeah. Oh, so the Steam OS is immutable. Okay. Immutable Arch. And does it work the way it should, like it never breaks? Or not? All right, no issues so far. People who people experience breaking, but that's because they changed settings to turn off the immutable read only. Oh, that can be turned off. Okay. So if it's left on by default, the system is stable, I'm assuming. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I except for when Ubuntu will release theirs, whenever they, I don't have that much interest in immutable besides the Chromebook. But like I said in the past, Ubuntu was my first date with Linux, so I still follow them. Right, read only is the immutable part. Yes. Well, Cody, it looks like everybody went to bed early tonight. I thought we would have a few more people on here from different time zones, but I guess they're all partied out from New Year's Eve. Yeah, if you keep things default, less worry about breaking. Yes. Yeah. The more you tweak and customize, the more something could possibly happen. Right? $16-hour shift on New Year's. Oh no. I was home resting. Again, trying to shake off the sinus infection, and yeah, it's not fun. All right, I'm probably going to wrap this up here in about 5 to 10 minutes, unless there's somebody in the chat that just joined in and wants to say hello. Yeah, I went to the local restaurant earlier. There wasn't too many people there for Saturday night. I was surprised. Only thing I could think of is the extreme cold weather. Like I said, we had our dinner. I saw one couple walk in. They just got engaged, and the lady is from Lithuania, of all places. Definitely a small world, my friends. I asked the gentleman, the young man, was it love at first sight? He said, oh yeah. Aw, that made me feel warm and fuzzy without having to drink wine. So you work IT Thursday, housekeeping decide to schedule you to work as well. Okay. Okay. Do you drive far to work? 45, 50 minutes. Well, that's a long day because that's each way, right? Yeah, that's when you're tired, that adds up. So, yeah. Next time you're working 16-hour shifts, next day do grab a hotel. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, if there's nobody else in the chat here or that wants to say hello or whatever, I guess we can wrap this up for this evening. I know I came on a little bit late, but yeah, there wasn't too many people out tonight at the restaurant to really chat with, except my cousin. That's fine, but like I said, it's the cold weather. It's when it gets down in the teens, that's cold. There is a difference between, say, 32 degrees and 16 degrees. It's you feel it, you shiver. So and then you got to be careful walking on the ice in the parking lot, right? You know, so. All right, Cody, nice chatting with you. So, my take on Winero Windows Tweaker, I think it works fine. I didn't notice when I did the tweaks on my system, I didn't notice anything breaking or anything unusual. It does appear to work, and I think if you've done a fresh install, or even if you have not done a fresh install, definitely take a look at the disable ads option and disable telemetry. You should notice a performance boost in your system, and at the very least that'll limit the amount of data you put out there in the matrix, in the web, in the internet, as it were. So check out Winero. It was funny, one of the options was disable the annoying Edge or disable the annoyances in Edge. Boy, that developer must really hate Edge for him to put the word annoyances versus just saying disable Edge. Anyway. All right. That's it for this evening. Take care. Take care, Cody. Catch you on the next one. Have a good night. Ciao.